And Joe will take the stage now for the first lightning talk.
Okay, so I've been asked to use this microphone, and I've been asked to keep this talk to 5 minutes or less. So I'm going to throw away all the slides that I prepared and sort of jump to show you some stuff online. So the background to this talk is I discovered something called snap packages. If you want to find out about them in depth, then you can jump over to a website called snapcraft.io where you find all the details. But the short version is this is one of a number of new packaging formats that are designed to provide applications in a way that's secure and containerized and reasonably well isolated from the details of the host Linux system that it's being installed on. And the major motivation here is you try to remove the blockers that lie between someone supplying some software and the user being able to install that software on their system in a way that works sanely with their system. And that sounds quite a fun thing to me, quite a nice thing for a community like ours where we're pushing out tools like compilers, and it's really nice to be able to make the latest version available to as many people as possible, especially if we can do it in a format that allows you to install on multiple distros with no big deal to it. So, there's a really short version of this talk, and the really short version is this. The really short version is that thanks to the open sourcing of the DMD backend, we now have a DMD snap package published in the main Snap store that you can install on multiple Linux distros. We also have a package for Dub, and we have a package for DMD. So we don't need to talk about more than that if nobody wants to, but would you like to see a little detail of how I did it? Yep? Okay. Okay. So, again, the really, really simple version of this. How do you create a snap package? The really simple version, you create a YAML file, and that YAML file basically specifies all the details of what you want. I was trying to zoom in there. Can people read this? Yeah, such a shame. So the point is you get, I'm going to move this. You have a few sort of standard things at the top. You have things like name, version, description, whatever, standard packaging stuff. You have a couple of fields which relate to the confinement that you use, i.e. how this is sandboxed with respect to the host system. And you have this thing called a grade, which lets you say this is a development package, it's experimental, or this is a stable package. And that's mostly about how it's allowed to be published to users. So it's for the store that you use this field. And then you have a section called apps, which describes what actual commands does this package expose to the system. In the case of LDC, this means LDC2, LDMD2, and a couple of other helper utilities that come with LDC these days. And then we come to the section of parts, which is actually describing how we build this package. So this all looks probably quite verbose, but actually the thing I want you to note is I'm not doing any scripting here. All I'm doing is providing some information. So I'm saying, here's a Git repository from which you can get the source. Here's the tag I want you to check out. Here's a plugin that I want you to use to build this source, in this case, CMake. And here are a few flags that I want you to pass to CMake to enable you to build this program. And I can specify things like my build dependencies and so on and so forth. This actual snap package contains a few extra things because I also build a bootstrap version of the decompiler with the C++ front end, so I can bootstrap building a compiler with a D front end, and I also build LLVM from source as well. And if this looks a bit verbose, consider the next thing I'm going to show.
1 minute warning, Joe.
Yep. If I want to change the version or whatever, it's a really simple edit to the file. So this makes it very easy to say, new version, build it again, so on and so forth. I'll maybe do one little demo of something I think is super cool. So you can see I've got a bunch of these installed here. If I wanted to install it, would simply be sudo snap install whatever. But you see I've got version 1.2 of LDC installed. Oh. I should have made it 1, 2, 3, 4. The point is, what I just did there, in the Snap store you can define multiple channels for your releases. So for the Snap we have channels 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and those are release channels for different versions of the compiler. So what this allows you to do is not just have latest release, latest release, latest release. It actually gives the user a lot of control over which version of the compiler they want to stick with. So they can either go with absolute latest, or they can go with particular release series that they want to stick with. Now, to me, I'll end
Joe, I'm
here.
sorry to interrupt you, but we got to cut you off. Lightning talk.
Okay, no worries. I think this is cool. If you want more details, come chat with me, and I'll talk to you about how to set up snaps.
Stay up there. You actually have time for questions while we set up Robert, so stay up there.
I could have showed them more stuff, Dylan.
Questions? Anyone?
Question?
Questions from the chat?
Yep.
Real quick, Joe, great work, and this is the first dividend we're paying after open sourcing D&D. How about the ongoing maintenance aspect of this? You know, what is the likelihood of it not going stale and being always fresh and in good shape? And you know, how can we help keeping it fresh and nice?
So in terms of immediate maintenance, the changes can be very trivial. As soon as a new version of the compiler is tagged, whether it's beta version or release version or whatever, you can make a very small patch to the Git repository that defines the snap package, and then that goes into the master branch, and there's a continuous integration set up on Launchpad, which allows auto-building and auto-pushing to the store of the packages.
All right. I'm starting to seem like a pointy-haired manager. Is my hair pointing yet?
Yeah.
You know, my question is, can we have you as a point of contact as an ongoing, you know, going forward from here?
That was the idea. I wouldn't have done this unless I was prepared to make it work. Yeah.
Big round of applause for Joe. Thank you.